when you have a sovereign currency, there is a spectrum of exchange rate regimes that you can choose among. And what we argue is that a floating exchange rate provides the most domestic policy space. You can manage your exchange rate, which is what China does. And that might reduce your domestic policy space. You can peg your exchange rate, which many countries do, they peg to the dollar. That further reduces policy space. You can adopt a foreign currency as your own currency. Some countries have dollarized. So Ecuador adopted the US dollar. That severely constrains domestic policy space. You can adopt a gold standard. You can adopt the euro. Okay? Those reduce your domestic policy space. So if you want to maximize your domestic policy space, you adopt your own currency and you float. Okay? That will provide the maximum domestic policy space. The problem with fixing your exchange rate is that you need the foreign currency that you have fixed to. Or if you're Ecuador, you actually need to get US dollars. That constrains your domestic policy space because you have to operate your economy in a way that ensures a flow of dollars into your economy. Usually this means what you want is a trade surplus. If you want a trade surplus, you usually have to adopt some form of austerity. You have to keep wages low. You have to keep domestic aggregate demand low so that your population won't buy imports, because you're trying to run a positive trade balance. That's why it reduces your domestic policy space. Now, a country like China today has an unassailable foreign currency reserve, $3 trillion of foreign currency. Even George Soros will not attack that. Okay? And part of the reason why they've accumulated that amount is because George Soros attacks countries that peg and don't have enough foreign currency reserve. George Soros brought down the United Kingdom. One guy brought them down. They had to abandon their peg. Okay? So that is the danger, and that is why your domestic policy space is reduced. You can't pursue things like full employment policy, because full employment could lead to your wages rising and could lead to your population importing, which reduces your trade surplus. Someday, China will float their currency. Someday, China's trade balance will turn around, probably a lot sooner than what most people believe. Why? Because they are allowing their wages to rise. They actually have a policy of wage increases. And so they're not going to very long be a low-cost producer. So they will float their currency in order to protect their domestic policy space. That's a prediction, of course. And economists are often wrong, but I think that is what we're going to see.